This tank is rusted from the inside. It's not too bad, but I want to show you a little bit about it. Hopefully you can see the rust. The rust here is kind of what the rust is on the inside. And I do have a cork here, and the cork basically is going to seal this. Hopefully it's not going to leak. This is where the fuel sensor, this second hole is where the fuel sensor is. This is where you fill the gas. And on the bottom here, it's kind of funny, the previous owner had all of this stuff, so it's either he was planning on doing it. So this is, I believe, the fuel kind of going to the carburetor from here. We're going to put a cork on here. Hopefully this is going to be good enough. And then on this, I'm going to show you how much rust there is. So I don't know if you're able to see the rust. This is the, of course, the outside, but on the inside, it does have all sorts of rust in there. About this surface is what is on the inside. There we go. I don't know if you're able to see too much, but you know, it's not like you can tell very much what's in there. We are going to try and clean up all of this. On the outside is not that important, but we will get rid of that and repaint all of this. So you're also going to need a bunch of nails like this, and you're going to drop them in the gas tank. You can count them to make sure that you have all of them, because when you put them in the tank, you're going to have to fish them out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. There's different ways of doing it. This is what I'm going to be using. This is white vinegar. You can get it at Costco. It's very cheap. But what I like about this is that it's not that strong. It's a very mild acid. What some people do is they actually put acid in here, and then there's one other process of removing rust by electrolysis, basically hooking up to a battery. I don't know how to do that. This is the most simple way. Just white vinegar, and you slosh it. It takes a lot longer. That's the downside of this. The other methods, like if you were to get, I think it's like pool cleaning acid, and it's $7, very cheap. It'll get rid of it very quickly, but you have to do it outside. The vinegar, it's very simple. This is white. This is just completely clear, so when we remove it, you're going to see the color change. With the cap, this is going to be a so there we go. I got a bunch of screws in there. I actually added a few more screws. This should be pretty dirty. I don't know what it's going to look like. One thing we have to do is be very fast on the next session of this. So we remove the acid or vinegar, and then we have to spray it with water, get all the vinegar out, and then we have to put some sort of like penetrant. Some people put oil, some people put like WD-40. There's some other like products that you can put. Let's see what it looks like now. Pretty dirty. There is no harm of actually letting it fall. That's what I like about vinegar as an acid, is that it's very mild. Even if you get it on the ground or you just pour it on the ground, it's not going to harm anything. Let's see if I can fish out the sprays. It looks pretty clean. Yeah, it's really clean. It's hard to tell without the light in there, but it looks fairly clean in there. So we're going to spray this with some water and get rid of all the vinegar. before. Things you could use for this, but this is some sort of like anti-rust. It's got some anti-rust properties. There's some specific ones you could use, but this is what I got. Just slosh it around now. Just kind of move it, because now is the process of getting this nice and clean. You can air dry it, but I got a different idea. You can just grab the heat gun and just let it do its thing. So the milky substance here is basically the WD-40 mixing with water. So what I'm going to do is going to wipe this out and put some more WD-40 in here and just try it. Got the tank all cleaned up. We need to put this. This is the sensor for the fuel gauge. This is the gasket that goes in the fuel sender. This is like the little float that goes in. I got the gasket on the actual plate, and now I should just kind of fit this in. And there is this lip here on the plate, and it lines up here. Push it down. It might take some work to get this. Now you have this plate. This plate goes, I believe, facing up like this. So let's thread it through the wires. Like this. And now it's just a matter, I guess, squeezing it. You might have to push down. I'm going to grab the plate and I'm pushing down and twisting. It might be a little bit tough. You also don't want to destroy the connectors. But there we go. I think it's locked in. It's not going to go anywhere. That's it. So this part is in. I'm kind of curious to see if it'll leak out, but it shouldn't leak out. So when you look at this, remember you need to line up the bottom plate with that little tab and then just put it in. There's only one way of fitting it, and then just rotate. That's where the fuel comes out. This is the bottom of the tank, and this is the old I guess you can say the petcock. It's not exactly a petcock, but it threads onto here, and I'm looking at it, and the O-ring, there's an O-ring inside here, and it's busted. That's probably the reason he bought a new one. So we do have another one that we're going to put on. O-ring is really good on here. This one's ripped in half. It might have been leaking when he took this out. There we go. Look at this. This is the last piece. And that's the gas tank. We cleaned it, no rust inside. It's not perfect inside, of course, but it's good enough for what we're going to do. Let's put the sensor. We need to cover the sensor like this. There we go. So there's a few bolts, 1, 2, 3, 4, and you tighten it down. I don't know if I'm going to tighten it down, but that's where the tank is. It's kind of interesting. There's no storage at all in these old 80 scooters. I'm not going to put the battery, and I want the tank loose because I'm still wrestling with the carburetor. Kind of stuck here.
The cops won't bother me.